Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Lakers need to sign solid and reliable players so that when the playoffs arrive, they can bring the expected results to the team, which is to be champions next season. Signing a renowned center will be essential, but this does not prevent them from developing young players, such as choosing a giant center in the draft, and gradually this player can become important in the rotation. Developing young players is important for a team seeking championships. The Lakers are interested in the giant from Australia who is only 18 years old and 2.18 m tall. He is big and athletic and could have a bright future in the NBA. With the top of the 2025 NBA draft order set, many mock drafts are starting to come out. While much of the focus will be on lottery picks, the Los Angeles Lakers wait until pick number 55 to make their first selection. That late in the draft, the Lakers are unlikely to find a player who can make an impact as a rookie. However, they could bet on somebody with some upside. It's no secret that the Lakers need size. They may still be playing if they had better center play this season. They can't go into the 2025-26 season with Jackson Hayes starting. They aren't going to find their starting center in the second round, but they could add a big body for depth purposes. In Jonathan Wasserman's latest NBA mock draft for Bleacher Report, he projects the Lakers to select Australian center Rocco Zikarsky with the 55th pick. The draft process will be important for Rocco Zikarsky after an unproductive season that ended early due to injury, Wasserman wrote. A mobile, 7-18-year-old with pro experience may sway some teams to gamble and stay patient. The last few drafts have shown teams interested in adding Zikarsky's kind of size in the middle, even if they lack a modernized skill set. Scouting report on Zikarsky. Size is not an issue for Zikarsky. He's one of the biggest players in the draft and is still very young. If he could further develop his skill set, he could be an intriguing player. NBA Draft Room praised Zikarsky's ability to utilize his superior size. Rocco is a massive center built in the Mark Eaton/Walker Kessler mold. He's a dominant force in the paint, protecting the rim and rebounding the heck out of the ball, NBA Draft Room wrote. He does a good job of bodying up and holding his own in the paint and has good shot blocking instincts. He shows good recognition and can come off his man and block shots on the weak side. His immense height and long arms allow him to block and alter shots without needing to get off the ground. However, Zikarsky is very limited on offensive skill set and his ability on defense is concerning. At this point he's not much of a jump shooter, but that could come in time. Has decent passing instincts, can operate in the high post and is pretty good with the ball in his hands, NBA Draft Room wrote. His biggest challenge at the NBA level will be guarding in space and keeping up with the pace of play. He's got decent mobility but isn't exactly a nimble or quick athlete. Lakers going to turn over every stone to find center. The Lakers are well aware how crippling their lack of a center was in the playoffs. They can't go into the playoffs next year with subpar play at the position. There are too many good bigs in the Western Conference right now. The hope was that Luka Doncic and LeBron James would be dominant enough to overcome the lack of a center, but that wasn't the case. The team's biggest job this offseason is to find a more stable option at the position. LeBron James explains decision to always make right play in clutch situations. There is no denying that LeBron James is one of, if not the greatest basketball player, to ever step foot on an NBA floor. Be it with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, or Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron has won at every stop and has put together a career that is simply unmatched when it comes to numbers and longevity, as nobody has been this good for this long. But one area of criticism that James has faced throughout his career has been his mindset in clutch situations. Whereas many expect the best player to always try and take the last shot, LeBron has been someone who will make the right play and kick it out to an open teammate if that is the best move. And that is something he will not back down from. In the latest episode of his Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash, James spoke on why he will always choose to make the right play instead of force a shot with the Lakers superstar, also adding that he just brushes off the criticism that comes from those who have never been in the situation. I just stayed true to what got me to that point. Like I knew I was taught the game the right way as a kid because we won. It worked. It really worked. I realized that when I got to the NBA, I won 3 state championships in high school and I thought it was something that all NBA players did. I thought if you're one of the best players in the world or you're one of the best players on your high school team, you should be able to win a state championship. And I got in the NBA and it was a lot of guys that never won a state championship, that never won a AAU national finals, and I was like, oh my goodness. I absolutely was taught the game the right way and we all succeeded and had fun doing it. Like it brought so much enjoyment to be able to play the game the right way. I never averaged more than 30 points in high school. I think my highest average was like 27 to 28, I believe. It wasn't about that. I could have averaged 50 points a game if I wanted to in my junior and senior year, but it was never about that. It was about, how can I maximize my teammates? How can I get the most out of my teammates in order for us to be successful? We came here to win state championships. We came here to win AAU tournaments and AAU national championships. And I felt like in order for me to win ultimately in the pros, even though it's a different level, I couldn't give up the essence of what made me fall in love with the game and how I was taught. Even if the criticism, it still goes on. It happened in the 2020 finals and I had an unbelievable game in one of the games to close out the Heat in the finals. And I drove the ball, 2 or 3 defenders came and I found Danny Green wide open for a 3 and he missed it and we went to a game 6. And I'll take it every time. I take it every time. And people are like, why didn't you take the shot? He should have took the shot, there he goes again passing the shot. I don't know the quote verbatim, but Theodore Roosevelt, the man in the arena. It's like one of my favorite quotes about being mirrored with dust and everything, and it's always the guy that's not in the arena is the one that's the loudest and talks the loudest. But you've never stepped foot in the arena, so how can you ever challenge what I am doing? James has always said that he is about winning and doing whatever is needed in order to win. And he has won at every single level, so it's hard to argue with his point. Because so many grew up watching Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant taking all of those shots, it is odd to see someone like LeBron choose to pass them up sometimes, but that is what works best for him. No matter what, LeBron will still go down as one of the greatest players in NBA history and will have his jersey in the rafters for the Cavaliers, Heat, and Lakers when it is all said and done. Should Christian Coloco be in the Lakers rotation next season? Christian Coloco showed promise as a center for the Lakers and should have a shot at making the rotation next season. With summer already upon the Lakers faithful, it's clear the main position of need will be the center spot. Not just any center, but one with the requisite skills to fit around Luka Doncic in particular. A rim-running lob threat pick-and-roll partner that can protect the rim is the ideal archetype. One player to fit that bill may already be in-house with big man Christian Coloco. To begin the season, head coach J.J. Redick preached the importance of internal development, creating synergy with the Lakers' G League affiliate. LA signed Coloco back in September to a 2-way contract, where he first needed medical clearance by the NBA after recovering from a blood clot issue that kept him out the previous year. Coloco thrived in South Bay, averaging 14.8 points, 8.4 rebounds, and a whopping 3.1 blocks per game. He proved himself to be a top defender in the G League while catching lobs and finishes at the rim using his 7 feet 6 inches wingspan, eventually earning him minutes with the parent team. Underscore 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 underscore. From SB Nation. Per the NBA's tracking data, Coloco and Doncic played just 36 minutes together this season, with a positive 18.2 net rating. Theoretically, with his 7 feet 0 inches athletic frame, he fits as the quintessential pick-and-roll partner, as demonstrated in the clip below. Brook Lopez of Milwaukee is in drop coverage and the weak side defender, Gary Trent Jr., never tags to help, leaving the rim-running lob open. While appearing in just 37 games with the parent squad, Koloko finished second on the team in field goal percentage. With Jackson Hayes completely falling out of favor by the end of the postseason and the only other big man being Alex Len, the Lakers lost any vertical spacing threat in the playoffs. The team opted not to convert his two-way contract into a standard one, eventually leading Redick to choose to go without a center altogether. This stagnated the Lakers' attack, creating a predictable offense for opponents to guard. The real upside for Koloko is on the defensive end, where he can leverage his size and athletic tools to protect the rim, as demonstrated in the clip below. Koloko plays a traditional drop coverage in the clip above, where he's responsible for the guard off the screen and taking away the lob pass to the rim. He does both, forcing a contested layup that he blocks. Here's another example below, this time as a weak side defender. Gabe Vincent gets stuck on Naz Reid, who appears to have an easy basket at the rim. Koloko comes over as the helper to get the block at the rim. He finished second on the team in block percentage. He's not a significant physical presence on the inside, but having a rangy athletic center to provide minutes is valuable across the league. He additionally creates second-chance opportunities by tipping the ball out using his gifted length. A point of contention for Koloko receiving minutes next season could be the basketball philosophy that Redick employs, which involves placing the big man in numerous switching defensive schemes and a spaced-out offense. The results of not only the Lakers series against Minnesota but also across the league show that having a variety of options and schemes is vital for winning at the highest level. Koloko isn't the perfect option, he's far from it. Canvassing the league for available centers that can make an impact on both sides of the court is difficult, especially with the assets the Lakers have and would likely be willing to part with. Having a player in-house, then, who has already spent a year in their system, could make him a viable option to get minutes next season. Christian Koloko. In his return to the league this season, Christian Koloko landed on the Lakers and showed some promise of what he still could be in the NBA. Welcome to our annual Lakers Season in Review series, where we'll look back at each player on the team's roster this season and evaluate if they should be part of the future of the franchise. Today, we continue with a look at Christian Koloko. For Christian Koloko, returning to an NBA court was far from a guarantee entering the 2024-25 NBA season. While the Lakers signed him to a two-way deal entering the year, the NBA had yet to clear him after a blood clot sidelined him for the 2023-24 season. Eventually, the NBA cleared him for on-court activities in late October, and Koloko showed that he was another big with potential for the Lakers to develop, even if it meant he wasn't always an immediate impact player. How did he play? Expectations for Koloko were muted for this season. His talent is raw and undercooked, and sitting for a year didn't exactly make him a prime candidate for an explosive season. The Lakers were allowed to use Koloko for a maximum of 50 games on his two-way contract, and they squeezed most of the juice out of the orange that was his game total, having him active for every game possible, with the 50th game coming in the team's regular season finale. While he was active 50 times, Koloko played in just 37 of those games and averaged a modest 2.4 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 0.4 assists per contest. With Koloko playing double-digit minutes in only 18 games, the opportunity to make an impact for the Lakers was few and far between. Still, he had some games in which he showcased his talent. In a January win over the Blazers, Koloko was the best version of himself. He ended the night scoring 8 points, grabbing 8 rebounds and dishing out 3 assists. It wasn't just the fact that Koloko filled up the box score, but how he did it that showed his promise. He was smart in his shot selection, aggressive in the paint, and rolled hard to the rim. On his 4 made field goals, 3 of them were dunks. However, there's a reason this game is an exception and not the standard for Koloko. Koloko often hurts himself in the details. He can sometimes make lazy handoffs, have weak screens, and be slow-footed on pick-and-roll defense. Underscore 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 underscore. Latest video from SB Nation. In this matchup, his activity was up, and his focus on the minutiae of the game was at an all-time high. If he can replicate some of these habits overall, he can maximize his potential. While Coloco's time in the Lakers' rotation was limited, his numbers looked good whenever he played with South Bay in the G League. In the 10 games, he averaged 14.8 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 3.1 blocks. Coloco was dominant against this level of talent, and that's exactly what you want to see from a player who could one day earn a permanent role on an NBA team. This year, however, Coloco didn't demonstrate enough for the franchise to award him more playing time or a permanent roster spot. This is why he remained on a two-way deal all year and was stuck observing the Lakers' playoff run instead of participating. What is his contract situation moving forward? When the Lakers signed Coloco, it was for just one season. Therefore, Coloco will be a restricted free agent this summer. Should he be back? The promise is there with Coloco. He is only 24 years old and has just 2 seasons of NBA experience, so there is a lot of upside in his game. While Coloco has potential, he is currently a young player who still needs time to develop. On another two-way deal, Coloco makes sense, and if he can earn a final roster spot on the Lakers, that could be worthwhile.